Hello, Crixis here and welcome everyone to this week's video. Today I will be chatting about my favorite art supplies 2023 edition. I have done 2 videos like this before, but a lot of things have changed and I just thought I will update you. I know a lot of you really like these kind of videos, myself as well. I watch them all the time when I want to look for new mediums to try or new colors to explore. So if this is your cup of tea, keep on watching. I guess speaking of cup of tea, grab yourself any drink. I am actually drinking instant coffee. Can you believe it? Instead of tea. I'm drinking tea all the time, but yeah, this is instant coffee because I'm feeling quite sleepy today. And it's super gloomy weather outside, so I have artificial light with me. I also have microphone up here, so in all of its glory, I really want to improve on sound, so I hope you don't mind. I will be sharing all the art supplies I'm using the most, not per se the ones I just like by the colors, but something I just use over and over time. And I was actually watching my past 2 videos and it was so exciting to I've written notes because it was so exciting to see my opinions about different things. And for 2021 and 2022, I said my all-time favorite medium is acrylic gouache, and a lot of things have changed. Okay, so this is my new favorite medium. This is watercolor in a pan. This is my most favorite and most used watercolor palette. I actually have a video where I shared this color palette, but there have been some changes. I have arranged them differently. I also mentioned it in last video where I chatted about my entire watercolor collection. But yeah, this is something I always grab. And I think from the watercolors, I specifically love the ones who are handmade. I love not only the feeling of owning something unique, but also knowing that some person made these from mulling by hand, and the packaging is unique, and I know I'm supporting small business, so it kind of all adds up and it just brings me a joy. And I have several different brands in this main watercolor palette. I have Wallace Seymour vintage watercolors, which are from the UK, and some of the pigments they are soils or they are digged from the earth, and they're quite unique. I also have deep light handmade watercolors. So the deep light watercolors are really interesting and unique color-wise, but also they are from my home country, Latvia. And I also have Ericus paints, which are from UK. I have Essee colors, which are from Latvia/Spain. And Beyondindigo, which is also a UK brand. So I have a few different handmade brands. Some handmade brands make really unique colors. I have like this color called Parodia by Ericus, and it's kind of like bronze yellow, but when you add a lot of water, you can see dark green pine color peeking through, and it's so interesting and exciting. I also have a sketchbook palette, and I am using mix of brands there, and I use it for sketchbook work. I have been using it for past month, and it's been really interesting. I think what I really wanted to have for sketchbook work is bigger pans, so I can grab bigger brush and be much looser. And this is how it looks. So I have some Kuretake paints, some white night paints, which are from my first professional watercolor palette, and there are some colors which I mixed myself as well. So it's kind of like a mixed palette, but it's really useful for sketchbook work. Okay, let's talk about the brushes. So this is so exciting. Okay, so for a long time I have been using the same brushes over and over again, and I'm not the person who always buys new brushes. I just use the ones I have, and some of my brushes are like 10 years old or more, or like since I got them, and sometimes I just keep them even if they are not really precise anymore. I guess I'm like having another basket filled with brushes which are not good quality, but it's kind of like for what if projects and also for some experimental work. And I rechecked my past 2 videos about favorite art supplies, and in both videos I mentioned that my favorites are Princeton Select. I think I bought these brushes like 5 years ago and I've been using them a lot. But one of the things I don't like about Princeton Select is after a while, I guess after a long while, because it's not in the beginning, the lack starts to chip away, and it's you can see the wood peeling out. And if you like to touch the brush and feel it in your hands when it's partially covered with lacquer and partially covered with wood, it's not so pleasant. But I thought I could try new brushes, and because my favorite medium now is watercolors, I decided to try watercolor brushes. I wasn't sure about which brand I would love to have for my watercolor brushes. But then I thought like maybe I could check the Princeton again and see what kind of ranges they have. And as a person who lives in a farm and don't have access to a lot of art supplies in person, I'm always shopping online. And I think for some things it's really tricky to buy things online because you want to touch it, you want to feel how they are. And I felt like on the Princeton website, they have like these metrics, and for each different series, they have a stiffness metric. Some of the brushes are less stiff, some are super bendy. Then there was like softness, and you could just like, if you have different Princeton brand, you can touch the ones you have and think like, maybe I want this to be softer. So then you can look through their website and see which of these series is the right one. And also they have like suitability aspect, I think. Like some of them are really good for mixed medium, some of them are better for just acrylic, some of them are better for watercolors. And I checked the ones who are better for watercolors, and I found that Neptune and Aqua Elite are like high on their list. And I decided to give both of them a go. And I have Princeton Aqua Elites, which are now my favorite brushes. I have been using this since I got them. And I think I just found like the perfect fit to my needs, because I really want to have synthetic brushes in my work. I don't want to have animal hair. So cruelty-free is a way to go. And these are kind of imitating sable, because sable is supposed to be quite precise for watercolor work, and the synthetic version is kind of like taking all the properties of the natural hair but using only synthetic hair. And I have 4 different sizes now. I have 6, 8 round brushes, then I have 12 long round and just liner number 1. And number 6 and 8 is the most used ones. This is like every single artwork I do with watercolors, I grab these brushes all the time. And I think it's not only like the preciseness of the tip, I also like the springiness. It's not super springy, but it's also not super loose, so it's good. And the touch, I didn't know that the touch could be an aspect, but the touch of these handles, it's so soft. It's kind of like matte and little bit rubbery, but to a soft point. I don't know how to describe them, but my favorite brushes of all time. So if you're talking about the paint palettes, for the past 2 years I have been using this one, and it's still dirty, I know, but one thing I didn't like about this palette was the deep wells, and sometimes, especially with acrylic gouache, it was really hard to clean it. And I kept on putting aside, and then I stopped using it until I got this one. So this is from Lowenek Art Studio. She's not selling these, but look how cute they are. I wish she could sell them. And I have been using it for a couple of times, but sometimes how I mix watercolors, I just use the metal parts of these paint palettes. There is plenty of mixing space. and it's just super quick and easy. And also sometimes when I don't have enough space, it's much easier to use these metal ones. And I think for watercolors, it's really easy to clean the palette if you use metal or ceramic. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the papers, and specifically watercolor papers. So when I got into watercolors again this year, I realized I need to have a good quality paper, because paper kind of makes or breaks the artwork sometimes. And if you have good quality paper, you can erase some mistakes, you can build up several layers, it will not be splattering around, and you can kind of control what you're doing in the artwork. And I have two different types of paper I'm using. So for all the bird illustrations which I'm doing, I'm using Fabriano Artistico. I like both hot press and cold press papers. In the beginning, I thought I will like hot press, and actually now I use both of them. And I think Fabriano Artistico is high quality paper, but it's not the most expensive paper. So that's why I started with it, but now I kind of got the hang of it, and I really like the feel. And I think for all the illustrations I'm doing, I am choosing between hot press and cold press, or sometimes rough paper. And I feel hot press are really, really good with detailed artworks. If I'm doing like more larger washes, I think cold press is great, because then you can see granulation. But if you do a lot of, for example, like indoor scene and like with lots of different details, I think cold press paper is, first of all, it dries much faster. You can build several layers much quicker. And I think for detailed work, it works much better, personally. This is like my personal opinion. I also have artist paper, and I know it's quite expensive, so probably not the best for if you are just starting out, because that's like super expensive paper. But I have both cold press and hot press papers. First, I got the hot press. Then I realized I need cold press as well. And now I'm thinking maybe I need rough surface as well. I am using these for special occasions. I still feel a little bit precious when I use them, because I'm always keep on thinking like, oh, they're so expensive, what if I ruin it? And then I'm just like, no, it's fine. I will just start working on it, and it will be fine. I sometimes do Patreon reward artworks on these papers, and I think I have used more cold press than hot press, but both of them are really good. And these are art blocks, so they're glued from all four sides, and this is 7 by 10 inches or 18 by 26 centimeters. So quite good size. It's in between A5 and A4. Okay, if you're talking about the sketchbook work again, and if I'm going outside and sketching something from real life, I am grabbing this little gouache kit. This is a traditional gouache, and it looks quite messy, but I will zoom in and show you. And these are designers' gouache, traditional gouache tubes, but I am squeezing them into pans and mixing my own colors. I filmed a video, I think, a year and a half ago, where I showed how I mix my gouache into pans. Since then, I have updated it and added more colors, and I feel it's super quick medium to work with if you are outside for a few minutes. And also, I think, like the colors, if you mix them yourself, you have specific color palette already. This is something I have been loving a lot, and I also use them for map crunching. Whenever I go outside to sketch, and it's not super often, but when I do, I just grab this one, water brush, and a sketchbook, and that's it. Or like maybe like 2 or 3 brushes, or 2 or 3 pencils or neon colors, but it's not like a lot, I think. So if you are talking about the pencils, I haven't bought a lot of new colors. I think the ones I have, I'm really happy about. I have a lot of muted and moody colors, because this is my color palette and my personal opinion, but you might like brighter tones, and that's totally fine as well. I think I really love Derwent Drawing because that is like the perfect muted set. I also love Derwent Lightfast, especially I love the spruce green color. It's really unique tone. It's the only that kind of tone I have from all the brands. I also really love Forest from Derwent Lightfast and Foliage. I think I have a lot of different brands, but as usual, I reach for the colors I love. I'm still a fan of Gingerwood pencil color. If you have watched my videos for some time, you know this color already. So let's chat about the pencil sharpeners. I was using a lot of random sharpeners and I got rid of some of them because I had some plastic and some metal ones. And I realized the metal ones, they are sharpening it in much, like the wood sharpens in better quality and it's much pointier. I don't know how to call it. So I now have two sharpeners and my favorite one is from Kum. And this is a long point. So it's not like I think they have even another sharpener, which is like super long point, but this is like a little bit longer than average. And I think this is really nice. The Derwent Drawing pencil doesn't fit into it, so it's a little bit smaller, but it does fit to Prismacolors. I'm still using the little metal box and I keep all the sharpenings inside. And when it's full, I just feel like empty it. And yeah, I just feel this is super handy. For the erasers, I use everything I have close in hand. I also noticed that for watercolors, it's really great to have there's kneadable eraser. And sometimes when I sketch with pencil on watercolor paper, if I would use like sharp eraser, and I think it would break the paper, but I just take the kneadable eraser and kind of touch up a little bit. I hope it makes sense. I will share you example, but kind of I sketch a little bit bolder lines and then I use kneadable eraser to kind of tap it down a little bit so it doesn't break the paper. And yeah, that's for the erasers. Let's chat about the pencils because I haven't been using wood graphite pencils for a long while. I am fan of mechanical pencils. I love how precise they are. I also love that I don't need to sharpen them all the time. I also love that there is no waste because when you sharpen pencils, there's usually waste, not only graphite, but the wood. Whereas with mechanical, you just buy refills and that's all. I love 0.5 millimeter mechanical pencils, so I have two because sometimes when I run out of one, I just use another one, and when I run out of both, I refill them. And I also have 2.0, so this is much thicker, and I use Kohinoor Versatile and Eco Friends, also 2.0 millimeters, and I use them all the time. Every single time I sketch, this is my go-to, and they're really handy, and yeah, I love mechanical pencils. Let me know if you prefer mechanical pencils or traditional graphite pencils in the comments down below. I'm really curious actually how many of you like one or another. And while we are at this, if you like this video so far, please give this video a thumbs up. It helps my channel to reach more people. Thank you so much. And let's move on. Okay, let's chat about the fountain pens. So you might know that I have gotten a lot of the inks and I also have a lot of fountain pens themselves. So I have 4 in total now. I think I have Twisby Echo, Kaweco, Pebeo, Safari, Lamy, and Ferris Wheel Press. And honestly, I don't use all of them. I think my favorite one is Kaweco one because it's easy to open and then close, easy to refill as well. Actually, in this moment, I haven't been using them for drawing. I'm using them for writing. Whenever I'm writing notes or writing thank you for the orders on Etsy or thank you for Patreon rewards, I'm using the fountain pens. And for the inks, I have, look at this. have like this whole drawer filled with inks. So I actually don't have favorite now. I decided, because I'm quite slow and because it's only for writing, it takes a long time for me to finish the whole cartridge before I refill it again. I decided every single time I need to refill it, I will choose different ink. So far I have Noodler's Lexington Grey inside Kaweco. And I think for Ferris Wheel Press, I have Salix from Rochen and Klinger. And 2 of them are empty because I don't want to fill all of them at once, because sometimes the ink can dry a little bit. So I'm keeping that in mind as well. I might return back for artwork making as well, but these fountain pen inks, they are not light fast, they are really fugitive. So if I would use them, I would use them mostly for my sketchbook work. Okay, let's talk about the sketchbooks. I have a lot to say. So for a long time, my favorites have been Moleskine. I love the smoothness of the paper. I love the way I can use different mediums on it. And I haven't considered this until I tried another sketchbook, but I love how mechanical pencils glide on top of this paper. How I discovered this is I just started using another sketchbook, and this is Oro Blanco by Pitch Supply. I started using it, I think, in April this year, and as soon as I started using it, I realized it's not the best for pencils. And I realized I use a lot of pencils sketches in my sketchbook, and it was just like the different feel. And when I returned back to Moleskine, I realized the paper, like, I don't know how to explain it. When I use the Pitch Supply and I use mechanical pencil, it feels like it's engraving inside the sketchbook, and it leaves these marks. Whereas if I use Moleskine, the pencil glides on top. And I try to change the softness of mechanical pencil. So I have HB, I have 2B pencil lids, and I tried softer one, so it was a little bit better. But in general, yeah, I don't like the sketches with pencils in this new sketchbook. I want to continue it regardless, and just when I will finish it, probably I will not buy it again, because I really felt the difference between Moleskine and Pitch Supply. I think Pitch Supply is much better with mixed medium. You can add watercolors as well. I think for Moleskine, watercolors doesn't look that great, whereas for Pitch Supply, it's really good. I also have been using Yuzu Flex, which is a really good sketchbook. I love that sketchbook. And I will probably get Yuzu Flex next time, and Oro Blanco will be just one time off. Whereas for Moleskine, I think I have like 5 or 6 or 7 sketchbooks so far, which I have filled. And for my experimental sketches and just working in sketchbook, I really love A4 size. That's why these both are A4. And because I'm using them at home, I don't think about how heavy it will be. It's just perfect size. I also have recently got Odd Orange sketchbook, and I have been using it with mixed mediums. I usually take it outside and sketch something there. And it takes traditional gouache really, really well. And I think it's kind of like in between Moleskine and Pitch Supply. Pitch Supply is too textured. This is much smoother, more like Moleskine, but it's also a little bit thicker. So it's really interesting how all of them are different. I think this one I really love for traveling, because A5 is a good size to take out. Thank you so much for watching this far. If you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up and write in the comments, what is your current favorite medium? I am really curious, and also I will know that you stayed till the end. I also want to say thank you so much to all of my lovely Patreons who are supporting me over there. I really appreciate all the support. I'm actually, while I'm recording this video, I'm going on a holiday for a week, which is super exciting. So this is this is pre-recorded video by a tiny bit. I am going to France and I'm so excited. I will film a little bit there and show you adventures in the next video, possibly, or a week later. I also have like a little bit more art supplies content because I'm working on a self-published book right now and I'm keeping a few things a secret. But yeah, I have some footage on my Patreon from the book. So yeah, I just thought to mention it. But anyways, thank you for watching. I will see you super soon. Bye everyone. Bye.